Looks good though. So what'll happen is I'm going to say a few words. I'm going to call you up. I'm going to hand you a Torah. Okay? And while you're holding the Torah, you'll start by reading this, which is, as I mentioned, essentially what the questions I asked you to do. And then if you need it, it's there too. The Shema. And then we'll put the Torah away. And we'll do, is it okay if I do a blessing? Put my hand on your head?
That's fine.
Okay, fine.
So for the Shema, do I do it in like
Read
trope
it.
or just
No, read it. Or you can sing it if you want.
I'm okay.
And good use of the word trope there. And then, I'll probably mention this to you. This is your certificate, which you get to sign. Right? Root Bat Avraham B'Sara. Nothing in the paper.
Yes.
All right, so let me see if I have a pen here. I do have a pen, but you can sign it when you get home with any pen that you want to.
Okay.
This one is decent, but not anything special. So this will be yours. 15th day of the first of Adar this year. February. That's right, this year. 23rd day of February today. Again, Ruth Bat Avraham B'Sara. You are going to, you're in about 20 minutes, you're going to go. You are, by the way, we're going to do a handful of things and then the service. It should take 5 minutes or so. It'll be up here. At the end, we'll sing and then you get to sit down. See this up here? That's right there is the forward camera up there. Yeah. And then there's one over here too, by the way, young man. See that one? Look at this one. Over there. All right. Where's that camera?
Yeah, what button?
Way up. What button is it? Well, I don't want to do the buttons because right now I've got this thing on, and if I do a button, if I pushed that button right there, that one would come over there, and if I pushed this button, this one would come over there, and that means that's what people see. Right now, that's what people see. So you're not. It's all right. Listen, you're not. So right now, if you turned on the stream, you would see that. And when I move this over here, which is just the click of a button, then they'll see the camera.
Hide your stained shirt.
That's right.
Change.
And that's my story.
Okay, Shai.
Yeah.
No toques nada,
Por
por favor.
favor.
All right.
Bien. Gracias. See, every time I look at Karen, I think Sunday or Monday, I'm going to be, I got to do, I'm like, Tuesdays, less, it's got more solid. Don't worry, three and one consecutive, which was a full rotation more without anything. There's no way. I'll probably do one a year, not just like this next I would encourage you. But I was so important. What's that? I can't make it come up the other side. Yo. What? to figure out a way to get the Spinal Tap reference. What's that? Coming? Good. Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope so. We'll find out soon enough. All right, everybody, welcome and Shabbat Shalom. Nice to see you. I don't think I've ever done a clap to start, like I'm at summer camp, and I'm like, all right, everybody, let's get at it. I did the clap, which, hey, this is the first time. I've been around here for a long time. I've started to introduce the clap to our Shabbat services. Really happy to see everybody. Welcome. It's a special Shabbat for various different reasons, but certainly you'll be able to experience some of the joy that one does when you watch someone join the ranks of the Jewish community. That makes this special, to be sure, but particularly special is the presence of these two. Chris and Tom have been really such meaningful partners and contributors to our service. They, whether you know it or not, this is what's called Shabbat Zimra, and I assure you, this is a lot of fun. It really does spice up our service greatly, and I'm so glad that you're here to experience it with us. Now, I'm going to tell you this now so I don't forget later. So what you'll experience, last time they were here, I made a Spinal Tap reference, saying that what you were experiencing here was a 10, and for Cabaret Night, which is April 20th, we're going to be putting it up to 11. And that was my Spinal Tap reference. But really, you should know that we're taking it from a 3 or a 4 up to an 11 on Cabaret Night. So if you enjoy the music that's here, then I assure you, you will truly enjoy what we do at Cabaret Night. But our service begins with the singing of Lechu Neranenah. Now you can find that in your Siddur on page 330. And yeah, so 130, not 3. If I said 330, I apologize. 130, this is Lechu Neranenah. Lechu Neranenah, Ladonai Nariah, Litzor Yishenu, Litzor Yishenu, Lechu Neranenah, Ladonai Nariah, Litzor Yishenu, Litzor Yishenu, Nikat Mafanav Bitoda, Bizmirot Nariah Lo, Nikat Mafanav Bitoda, Bizmirot Nariah Lo. From the top. Lechu Neranenah, Ladonai Nariah, Litzor Yishenu, Litzor Yishenu, Lechu Neranenah, Ladonai Nariah, Litzor Yishenu, Litzor Yishenu, Nikat Mafanav Bitoda, Bizmirot Nariah Lo, Mikadma fanav bitoda bizbirot naria. The last time with lechu niranina ladonai naria litzor yishenu lechu niranina ladonai naria litzor yishenu. Told you it's going to be fun. We're at page 120 now. This is the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Again, page 120, and oops, I turned this off accidentally, but that's okay. Back. So yeah, join me, page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad lihigner ner shel Shabbat. All right, page 123, Kiddush, page 1, 2, 3. Join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letzihiyat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Yeah, nothing special. You are not like, this was not, oh my God, everyone should get a taste of this one. Trust me, this one is, whatever the opposite of that is, that's. All right, so we continue with Lecha Dodi. So Lecha Dodi is on page 138. And our tradition is we do, on 138, we do the first verse, we do the second verse, we do the fifth verse, and then the ninth verse. So first, 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the ninth and final verse, I'm going to invite you to stand up and face the entrance to the sanctuary. So again, 1, 2, 5, and 9, this is Lecha Dodi. Please, page 138, please join us. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem lo tiferet v'litila la 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 la, Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mihi mikor habiracha Mirosh mikedem nisucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5 Hidoreri Kiva orech Kumi Uri shir daberi Kevod Adonai Allah yichnig la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please rise and face the entrance to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam besimcha uvetzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela la 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please be seated. Oy Gewalt is right. Is it just from sitting or from that music? Standing as long as we did and then getting, oh God. Usually the Oy Gewalt is when you get up, not when you're going back down again. It's a Baruch Hashem when you go down. Oy Gewalt, Baruch Hashem. All right, so I shared with you that this evening we have the joy of experiencing something which is really, there are a handful of these moments at the synagogue which are just particularly meaningful. Oftentimes when we give a new name to a baby, it's like very, very sweet and special here. Other times when, when we have a wedding blessing, it's particularly sweet, and there's a third one, and that is when we are able to warmly welcome someone into the ranks of the Jewish people. Now, I do want to share with you that this was an unusual conversion experience, and the reason why is because Megan, who will be coming up here in just a moment, really, she was the type of person that I went up to her when she came to say she wanted to convert, and I said, wait, you're not Jewish already? I didn't realize it because, she checked all the boxes. Establishing a day school, teaching at a day school, 2 different cities, but one in Argentina, one in Austin. All of her strongest connections are with Jews. She speaks the various different kind of codes that we as Jews say and speak our secret language, whether it's just throwing in the word Seder or Oy Gewalt. She seemed to have had all of those already. And so for Megan, really the process was, with being in a third city and just a handful of years and having 2 extraordinarily precocious but still young children, life got in the way of this decision. But for her, that she was able to now be able to make it something, carve out the time and the place. And for us, it is truly our gift that she did here with us, because she has been really an extraordinary just contribution and asset to our community, our congregation already. And so for us to be able to formally welcome her into the ranks of the Jewish people and a part of our Jewish community, even though she was already a part of the Temple Beth Shalom community, but the Jewish community, it's particularly special. And so what I'd like to do is call Megan up to the bima. With apologies, Paul, I'm going to make you stand up again. And the reason why is because we're going to give her the Torah so she can utter words of that, but I say uttering words of an acknowledgement of her kind of moving into our community, and also then express the Shema, which is that one expression which truly defines who we are. And so as I go before the ark and give Megan a Torah, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise. All right, I'll give you a small one. I don't have to we don't have to kill you with the Torah here. You got it? Yeah. All right, so hold on. You want me to hold it, or do you want to hold it? Wait, hold on. Sorry, don't drop that. You can drop this piece of paper. I almost dropped it. Hold on, I didn't want to put my hand in front of you.
Of my own free will, I choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people of Israel, and to become a Jew. I accept Judaism to the exclusion of all other religious faiths and practices. Under all circumstances, I will be loyal to the Jewish people and to Judaism. I promise to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and of the Jewish community. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
So I'm going to take this back from you, just so it doesn't. But we're going to keep the ark open. And there are really few words that can be said at moments like this, but there are blessings that we can say. And one of those blessings is the priestly benediction, a blessing that's been with our people for no less than 2,500 years, but probably far, far more. These words have been words that parents bless their children with. These words are words that I bless a wedding couple with under the chuppah, or a bar mitzvah, or bat mitzvah, and certainly at a moment like this. And the blessing comes from the book of Numbers, and it goes like this. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, which means may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May a sense of God's presence always surround you and bless you with peace. Amen. Mazel tov. Now, before we, one song. Or two, maybe, one blessing, and then a little quick song. So join me in Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Siman Tova, Mazel Tova, Mazel Tova, Siman Tova, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Siman
tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a semen tov, semen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a semen tov, semen tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a semen tov, yehelanu. Can I have a hug? Yes. Mazel tov. Get back to your seat. Please remain standing. We are on, I should close this arc. Oh, thank you very much. We're on page 146. Remain standing for the Baruch Hu, please. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai ha'mevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. On 149. Join me, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We're on page 152 for Shema, but before we do, I just want you to know how this is going to go. After we finish singing Shema, I'm going to have you sit, but we're going to be going straight into the version called "And Thou Shalt Love," which is the English of the Via Hafta, and it'll be kind of similar to what you see in the English translation on page 154. So just do your best to join me in the English of Via Hafta. But for now, this is Shema 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Thanks for those who sang with me. 159, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On the facing page, 158, Mi Chamocha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha now. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. Nice. All right, so this unique prayer for Shabbat. You won't hear this any other time. Well, you might, but if you do hear this prayer at any other time but Shabbat, then it will probably be more in an academic setting or someone who just doesn't exactly know what they're talking about, because this is about Shabbat. It's called Vishamru, and it's on page 162, and I hope you join with me in singing it. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתו העם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. All right, the Tefillah, page 164, and then 166, 168, and 170. It's all kind of in a row, although I will try to sneak in a page number from time to time. Again, begins on 164 with the singing of Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, and I'd love to invite you to please rise. 164. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Agadol Agibor v'Anorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Ahavot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh Kol Atarav Lehoshia, Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Oholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal givurot, umido melach, melech memid umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanat halachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Amechayeh hakol. 170 atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We are on page 173. This is a prayer or a reading that I just really love. I find it to be very meaningful. Top of 173. Feel free to join me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai nikadesh hashabbat. So our evening prayer for peace is called Shalom Rav. It's on 178. Just as a quick word, you should know that there certainly is no word other than maybe a couple of even pronouns. There's no words in our liturgy, in our services, no word that is more common than the word shalom. That our people, at our core, is about shalom. It's about peace. Our people's highest value and longest value was just to feel a sense of wholeness and completion and not feel like we were trying our best to just defend ourselves or we care about peace. It's our most precious value. And when I hear people who think otherwise, I am just shocked, because how many times can we talk about peace over and over and over again? It's what we want. It's what we've always wanted, and it is what we will always want. And so our evening prayer for peace, called Shalom Rav, page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. Ki atahu melech adom, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adom, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasihim leolam. Tasihim leolam. Tasihim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael bashalom. All right, right, so you are welcome and invited to put your prayer books away for at least a few minutes. And now I get to make them a little jealous, right? Because, like I don't want to show them up or anything, and so I try to, I've taught him everything he knows. There we go. So as you know, this is part of our service when we just share a little bit things which bring us joy and the things later on which bring us a little struggle and a sense of struggle. And we always, and all this with the purpose of creating a sense of community, right? That's the goal. Hearing people talk is lovely, but if you're not caring about what they say, then it's just people saying sounds if no one is caring and listening. But we are caring and listening. And in doing so, we're creating relationships and we're creating a sense of community. And so, I invite you to share joy you've experienced over the last week or two, maybe tops 3. And after every 1 or 2, maybe 3 joys we hear, if depending on how many we have, we'll sing the words Ken Yehi, which just means may it be so. But in the meantime, joy. If you've experienced joy recently and you want to share it, I would love to hear about it. Paul, you can go first.
Well, I am very joyful and grateful at our age of 95 and my wife 92. We've been married 70 years. We have children, grandchildren, and so many great-grandchildren I can't keep up with.
Yep.
So I'm very grateful for the joy all of this provides to all of us in our family.
Indeed. Between the two of you, you guys are 187, right? Well, you're 95, and she's 92. Unless my math's wrong, between the two of you, you're 187.
Yes, we're working on more.
Right. Call me when you hit 200. It reminds me, by the way, of a famous quote by a guy by the name of Cliff Levingston. Now, I'm just checking to see if anyone even has any idea who Cliff Levingston is. So Cliff Levingston played basketball for the Chicago Bulls about 30 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. And at the time, one of the most famous Chicago Bulls basketball players was a guy by the name of Michael Jordan. That name you've probably heard of. Well, in this particular game, Michael Jordan scored 60 points. And Cliff Levingston scored 4. And Cliff Levingston was interviewed after the game, and the interviewer said, what a memorable game, right? And Levingston said, yeah, I'll never forget it. This is the day that Michael Jordan and I combined for 64. And so that's what I was thinking about when I said 187. We combined for 64. Jordan had 60 of those 64, but it is true that they combined for. Anyway, Mazel Tov on just the tree that you've created with more than just small branches that have come from it, but you've created huge branches and boughs that go and stretch in so many different directions. And so Mazel Tov on what you've created over your lifetime. There's no question. More joy. All right, that'll get a Can You He right now. Can you he? Can you he? Can you he? All right, fine, you got one. Any more joy? Come on. Yes, Laura.
Well, we had a lot of fun this week with the sisterhood activities. We did them both here for the first time in a long time. We brought our sisterhood back under this roof, and we had a wonderful discussion. And I teach Mahjong with Gloria Wednesdays, and we had some pretty good, impressive mahjong.
Oh, wow. If you look around the mahjong table and you don't know who the, the sap is, then it's probably you.
But we had a lot of fun.
Is there money exchanged in this mahjong? Is there betting,
Not
gambling?
in this group, there is-
Gotcha, just checking. I'm so glad that it's been a good week for that. More joy. Yeah, Josh.
Somewhat straightforward, but just really joyous for Megan and to have family and friends here to celebrate her. It's been a long time coming, but couldn't be prouder and happier.
Yeah, us all, for sure. So for the joy of good sisterhood events, and of course the joy of watching Megan join the ranks of the Jewish community and do so with friends and family around, we offer a Ken Yehi. Ken Yehi. Ken Yehi. Ken Yehi. More joy, yes.
So we get to celebrate our grandson's 11th birthday.
Ooh, you guys are old enough to have grandchildren?
Yes, definitely.
You guys combine for 187 too, or?
And also, I spent a few days with a good friend in the northern neck where we came from. And one of my other girlfriends drove in, so we had a three-girl night. It was great. We spent a couple of nights there, and we connected. It was fun.
Nice, nice. Mazel tov. I'm so glad to hear about that. Another joy? No, I told you, after 2 or 3. I made an exception for you because you sang it to me. Other joy? Yes. Hal, go ahead, young man.
This lovely lady next to me, Miss Edelstein, is far too shy to say it, but she dearly, dearly adores her brother. And I know that she wants to share his joy that he's now floating in the Caribbean on a rock and roll cruise. And she has kept me abreast of every act, and apparently he's having a great time.
Gotcha. So
That's by the transitive property, that's
your joy too.
through me.
So let me get this straight. There's the joy of reconnecting with old friends and having meaningful experiences, and then the joy of creating some new friends as you are absolutely drunk on a cruise ship, on a rock and roll cruise ship. Sounds like both of them are worthy. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Please, more joy? All right. Yes, Karen.
This is a little premature because it's just an interview for a job, but my youngest son has gotten a really interesting interview set up next week for a teaching position at the American University of Armenia.
I did not expect that last part to be coming. Like how everything was like, oh, yeah, and then of Armenia. I was like, oh, really? So that means the English-speaking American university that is located in Armenia. Wow, that's great news. I hope it goes well. You probably won't see him as much, but right. Any other joy? All right, I'll finish one up then, unless you guys have one. No? So my wife and daughter are in Israel right now. My daughter is going to Israel for the first day of her fall semester, which starts in February, for obvious reasons. She was supposed to go to Israel. She had a ticket to fly to Israel on October, let me see if I can remember the date. Oh, right, now I remember, October 7th. And we had obviously didn't put her on the plane, and she stayed here in America, and she has been here with us ever since. I assure you that a junior in college who was preparing to spend her junior year, full year abroad in Israel, was not a fully happy camper sitting in the house for all of these months. But she is gone, and I'm really happy for her. And she and Hannah, my wife, went and are participating in yet another kind of solidarity mission to Israel of volunteering and learning and connecting, and that's something which I'm really happy for and proud of. And even though it's under terrible circumstances, it still brings me joy to know that they're there. So the joy of the potential job, you never know, and the joy of helping our brothers and sisters in Israel, it's worth one last Ken Yehi. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. All right, Baruch atah Adonai, Gomel Chasadim Tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the many joys that are in our lives. Amen. Along, of course, with the joy is a recognition of struggle, loved ones from our community, indeed loved ones from your families, perhaps even yourself, are in need of healing. And we have a blessing that we say for those who are in need of healing, and it's called Misha Berach. And our tradition here, for those of you who aren't familiar, is that I will begin by sharing the words of the blessing of Misha Berach, and halfway through, because this blessing is intended to be personalized for somebody, halfway through, I'll pause, and at the point where you would share a name, I'll give everyone a chance to share a name. We won't keep redoing the blessing for every single person. Instead, what we'll do is we'll say it halfway through once and then let people say names and finish the blessing. And then once we've completely finished the blessing, then we'll sing Misha Berach. And that's on page 371. But for now, we begin with the blessing Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel. And that means, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, hu yivarech v'yirapet kol hacholim shalanu. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so we'll just start, I'll move this way, and as my eye meets yours, as I'm coming around, if you'd like to share the name of someone or yourself who is in need of healing, you can say their name in Hebrew or in English. But feel free at this time to share a name if you'd like. Thank you. Thank you. Len Osborne. Leslie Sikora.
John Walter.
John.
And Barbara Myers.
Thank you. Reva Kelly.
Charles Sloan.
Yeah.
Paul Katzman.
Paul Katzman. Yeah. Meira Batsara. And I'd also like to include in this list Leslie Harris, and Allison Herman, and Shoshana Rivka Batsipura, Tova Bracha Batsara, and Zachary Meyer. Vishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuat hanefesh v'refuat haguf, a healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. So again, 371, that's where you find Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We pause now for a moment of silence. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, here we go. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. See, you got to get a little nightclubby here with me. We can do all sorts of different styles and modes here. Oops, wrong one. This one. I'm just making adjustments to the camera, because that's how we roll here. So there's a famous story. And that story, I mean, it's not a story, well, who knows, it could be, happened 200 years ago, maybe a little bit less than 200 years ago. But it's been kind of, it's been identified as potentially actually having happened, and so I'll share it with you. And it's about Benjamin Disraeli. I don't know if you're familiar with Benjamin Disraeli, but he was one of the prime ministers of the UK, and he was born a Jew. I mean, his name is Benjamin Disraeli. You're pretty much assuming he's a Jew, but he wasn't a Jew when he was prime minister. In fact, he wasn't even a Jew when he was just in one of the House of Lords. Thank you. His parents converted him to Christianity when he was 13 years old. His father had gotten to a little bit of a disagreement with the synagogue, and instead of working it out, he just walked out. And the whole family converted to Christianity. And so Disraeli was not a Jew, although he was born a Jew. 13 years old, or 12, I think, is when he converted. But the story is about he was confronted with some anti-Semitic language from one of his colleagues, fellow lords. I think O'Donnell was his name. And in this, O'Donnell went on kind of like an anti-Semitic tirade. And Disraeli, he wasn't prime minister at the time, he was still in the House of Lords. What is said of that moment was that Disraeli responded to him with this expression. He said, well, your ancestors, when they were savages on an unknown island, mine were priests in the Temple of Solomon. Supposedly, it was like a mic drop moment. If you guys know what mic drop moments are, it's like, and then you just walk out. But and that quote and that story is just an expression of Jewish pride, even if you're not even Jewish. It's like recognizing, kind of going back to your roots and recognizing, at least to some degree, a connection with our people. He just rediscovered, Jewish pride. Even if he wasn't Jewish, at least he was able to kind of recognize who his people were and where they came from. And, I think about, us too, as I think about this story, and I think about how really ever since October 7th, there has been, as anti-Semitism has kind of gone up, so too, at the same speed and at the same way, has Jewish connection and Jewish pride. And in other times throughout Jewish history, when anti-Semitism was heating up, oftentimes people would be quicker to hide their Judaism. Not so anymore. And that is certainly something which makes me happy. The Torah portion for this Shabbat is called Tetzaveh. Now, in Tetzaveh, thankfully we don't have a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah this weekend because, while it's not like the worst Torah portion in all of the Torah, of which there are a handful which kind of fight for who gets claimed to be the worst one, this is just kind of like one of those esoteric Torah portions which you wonder, to what degree this has any relevance in our lives. I mean, it talks about the priests in great measure, the same priests that Disraeli spoke of as the priests of the temple, and it talks about how they're supposed to dress and what the ordination of the priest is supposed to be like. We don't have priests anymore. Just in case you didn't know that, there's no more priests, there's no more sacrifice. All of our cultic rituals are done, and we have no interest in restoring them. That's the other thing, right? It's not like we don't have the priests, but we wish we had them back again. We have no need for the priests ever to come back again. And some want it. In fact, if you go to Israel, there are movements to rebuild the temple and create a third temple. That's not me. I have no interest in seeing the temple rebuilt. And people once again restore it, going back to that time when we would make pilgrimages to the temple and make sacrifices with our finest animals. In addition, it also talks about some of the things which you might be more familiar with, right? It gives the law of keeping the lamp burning continually, the Ner Tamid. Now, the Ner Tamid is that thing. The light, the eternal light, as we call it. But that's our Ner Tamid. In truth, for the Torah, what they were referring to when they talked about the Ner Tamid, or keeping the menorah lit continually, they were talking about the 7-branched candelabra, the menorah. And that was our job, was to keep it lit constantly. And so we keep ours lit. We follow the law of the Torah. Every synagogue follows this law. Every school that has a Ner Tamid follows this law. Like, this is kind of one of those laws of the Torah which kind of withstood the test of time. Lots of things in the Reform movement we've made decisions about whether we choose to observe or not observe, or we choose to embrace these traditions or not embrace these traditions. It's kind of one of those traditions which, no matter where you are, what denomination of Judaism, it's kind of withstood the test of time, the Ner Tamid. And perhaps the reason is because it's not because we want, as I mentioned before, the temple to be rebuilt, because remember, the Ner Tamid, the lamp of the menorah being kindled in the temple, was the value. It's not because we want the temple to be rebuilt. It's just because it's a reminder to us. It's a reminder to us about what our mission is, that we have a mission. It's a reminder to us that we are the Jewish people and that we have things that make us Jewish. Now, here's the thing. The Talmud actually speaks about this very question. It says you got this guy named Rav Sheshet, who's the student of a guy by the name of Rav alone. And he says to Rav, his teacher, he says, does God need the light? I mean, a pretty fair question. Does God need light? He didn't ask this question, but I'll follow up with, if God does God even have eyes? But Sheshet asked, does God need the light? And his teacher Rav says, no, God doesn't need the light. We need the light. We need the light to remind us that God is in our presence, yes, but we more need the light to remind us that we are here, that we are Jewish people, that we have a mission. And so, interestingly, the state of Israel, when it was established, needed a symbol. And they determined that it would be the menorah, the 7-branched candelabra. In fact, if you go to the Knesset in Israel to this day, right in front of the Knesset, huge, large sculpture of the menorah, the symbol of Israel. In 1948, when it was established that the menorah would be the symbol, there was a depiction of what it would look like, what the actual symbol would look like. And there was a menorah and 2 olive branches on the sides, and underneath the menorah was Yisrael written. But it got changed. You know what it got changed to? It got changed to the design that is on the relief in the Arch of Titus. The Arch of Titus is in Rome, in the Roman Forum. And inside the Arch of Titus is a relief of what happened, of celebrating the Roman destruction of the temple and the destruction of our people. And the leaders of Israel decided that they wouldn't use a depiction of a menorah with 2 olive branches and the word Yisrael at the bottom, but instead they would use the one that is depicted inside the Arch of Titus, the one which is a reminder to us of all that we lost. And there was a debate in Israel about whether we want to have a menorah, which is one which is of peace, or do we want to have one that reminds us and represents all that we lost and all that was taken from us. And they made the decision that they would use the one about all that we lost and all that was taken from us. Perhaps it was to remind us that we do have a mission, that we are still here. Every time you look at that light, it's because if there are no Jews here, there's no point in keeping the light on. In your house, I have memories of saying to my kids, you're leaving the room, turn the light off, right? And that's what it is to turn the light. It's like, so long as we're here, we need it. If there's none of us left, we can turn the light off. That light reminds us that we're here. That despite the pain that we've endured, despite the struggles, despite the pain that we're feeling quite recently and over the generations, we're here. We're still fighting. It's like Rocky Balboa. And so as almost esoteric and I would even argue just irrelevant that so much of, especially when we get into the book of, the end of Exodus and then get into Leviticus and Numbers, and it becomes a little bit harder. The stories are not nearly as enjoyable and fun. But as we kind of bring the book of Exodus to a close in a week or two, we are reminded with this Torah portion that we're here. And despite the pains and struggles that we felt, we are here, and we will be here so long as we have people like you, like me, like others who are willing to fight for our people and fight for who we are and our values and our heritage. And so the menorah, it's not for God. The eternal light, it's not for God. It's for us. So at this time, I thank you, and I invite you to turn in your Siddur to page 586. When you get to 586, that's Aleinu, and I'd like to invite you to please rise. So again, 586. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. Please be seated. So this is the part of our service in which we bring to mind loved ones who have passed away. There are a handful of two people who have passed away quite recently, and we call this the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of intensive mourning. And we remember lovingly Molly Rose Levin, grandmother of Elizabeth Lavick, and we also remember Nelson Goodman, who was a cherished member of our congregation, father of Mark Goodman. And along with those two, we also remember these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. It's the anniversary of their passing. And we remember lovingly also Frank Walter Lipman, Irvin Swartz, Leonard Berman, Morris Feldman, Ellis Levin, Calvin Taylor, Saul Levine, Tilly Shadur, Henry Chains, Kitty Glick Weiner, Gerald Irwin Lenrow, along with Deborah Rosen McCara and Erdo Weiner, and Bernard Aaron Zerwitz, Jane Elliott, Theodore Krasnow, Carol Orr, Sheila Edelstein, Albert Kreger, Helen Yanowitz, and Lola Rosen Trifus. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them all now with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. It can be found on page 598 And if it is your custom, I invite you to please rise. 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yama divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach li'alam ul'almei almaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiram b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say amen. Please be seated. Thank you. So, all right, so our service is coming to a conclusion in just a moment. Thank you so much to Tom and to Chris. I am so grateful, really. It's so natural, and I'm so grateful and appreciative. And as I mentioned before, if you like it at 4, we can turn it all the way up to 11 if you want. That's at Cabaret Night on April 20th at 7 p.m. All this that I mentioned to you, by the way, can be found in the weekly email or on our website. The second annual plant sale fundraiser has indeed begun. See the weekly emails for details, and there's also a link in our weekly email, and all orders must be placed by March 10th. No exceptions. Why? Because you got to put an order in, and then they're going to send it to us. So we can't be like, oh, we've got more stuff, because they have ordered. I think it's just only natural. We give you a date, you abide by it. Okay, so Adult Ed, Sunday morning at 10 a.m., Susanna Garfine, Dr. Susanna Garfine, really phenomenal intellect, will be here. Creation stories, as she was joking with me, she's like, she said, how long do I have? I said, an hour and a half. She said, I probably could do 5 times that much with the material that I'm going to be trying to cover. So she's probably not going to cover all of her material, but it's going to be extraordinary, that's for sure. Men's Club. They have a new date and time for their meeting, Tuesday, February 27th at 7:30. See our weekly email for the Zoom link. Nature program, but that's only for grades 1 through 5 or anyone who is over 94. So if you're over 94 or you're in the 1st through 5th grade, I do not think you should go. I think it'd be creepy. I'd take that back. But for 1st through 5th grade, nature program, March 3rd at 11:30. Men's Club Comedy Cavalcade. That's always a lot of fun, the Men's Club Comedy Cavalcade, March 10th. Again, remember, all this is in the weekly email. Tachibat and congregational dinner with Italian food. That's on March 15th. Adult Purim celebration with adult beverages and fun games and activities. We're going to try to recreate the rock and roll cruise. And here at the temple, at our Adult Purim, wear costumes if you want to. Be ready to have some fun. Adult Purim, March 23rd. That's Saturday night at 7 p.m. I mentioned Cabaret Night. And finally, the temple's Community Seder on April 28th. Boy, Pesach is late this year. My word. Hey, we just follow the calendar. We don't set the calendar. All right, so just a handful more things. Thank you so much to Tom DeKornfeld and Mary West for serving as ushers. Thank you so much to Carol Dreyfus, Cindy Heslin, and Josh and Megan Offsey for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. By the way, thanks to Megan also for baking the challah. I know. I'll be the first to taste it, and then I'll tell you if you get a thumbs up or down on the taste of the challah. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will be the first to taste it. I think that's it. I said thank you to you guys already a couple times. Thanks again. And yeah, so I think we're done. So we're gonna conclude again with Motzi, and then a final song, which is Adon Olam, which is on page 628. But first, Motzi. Maybe not 628. I don't think I got the right page. 625. Thank you. But first, Motzi, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Got a good taste. All right, but come here a second. No water down here. I'll be, little water, just because I don't want to be spitting out crumbs as I'm singing again. 625, Adon Olam. All right. Please join. By the way, this tune is catchy. I think you'll be able to enjoy this tune and start singing along with me pretty quickly. Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Asher Ma, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'chefzoko, Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra, V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado, Yimloch Nora, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hove, Vehu Yeh B'tifara. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra. Le'et Nasa, B'chefzoko, Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Vehu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Lehamshilo, Lehachbira, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Velo Ha'oz Ve'hamizra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra. Le'et Nasa, B'chefzoko, Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzor Chevli, Be'et Sarah, Vehu Nisi, Umanosli, Minad Kosi B'yom Ekra. Sorry. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra. Le'et Nasa, B'chefzoko, Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Biyado Afkid Ruchi, Be'et Isha, Ve'a'ira, Ve'im Ruchi, Giviyati, Adonai li velo ira. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra. Le'et Nasa, B'chefzoko, Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Last one. Azahi Melech Shmo Nikra. Shabbat Shalom. That was fun. Thank you, everyone, for singing along with me. And join in the lobby for the Onek Shabbat. But Shabbat Shalom. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. It's so funny because I'm such an amateur, right? But it's like you guys do great. But we pulled together. I know we just follow each other. But there's a couple times it's always fun when clearly I am a little off and we're just trying to get back with each other. And to those of you who are watching on stream, thank you so much for being here with us. And let's do a little singing with you, just a little special for the streamers. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. You do sing this. Who wrote this? Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shemu Baba. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shabbat shalom. That hurt you? Shabbat shalom. Because I might pick a man. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la. Thanks for singing with me.
Yes.
Thanks for
Always happy to see you.
take this gig on the road.
The guy.
Turning the stream off. Thanks again, everyone, for being with us.
The guy.